I was born in San Diego, California, United States of America, and been there all my life. Grew up there, and we lived in a place called Spring Valley, my father and I, and there was about seven other kids in the family. So I was the youngest of them, and I have been in church all my life. Grew up from the time I was 2 years old to 17 years old at a church called Phil's Christian Church. And I've been raised in church ministries and events and going to a bunch of groups and camps and had that lifestyle. And really just, I didn't know the Lord until I became 15 years old at a Bible camp. Um, my life was totally difficult because I didn't really have a foundation with the Lord until high school. I I hung out with some of the wrong crowds, some of the wrong people, even in the midst of church, and kind of lived this double lifestyle for a while. And when my father signed me up for Bible camp, we had worship, we had prayer times, and even little small groups at the Bible camp. And it was interesting because I didn't really do anything. I didn't really involve myself with anybody until the very last night. It was a night where we were just worshiping, and the lights were kind of down, dim, low, and we were just singing some Hillsong songs or Bethel songs at the time. And I was sitting in my chair just angry, just bitter. The fact that I had to be at Bible camp, I didn't want to be there. My dad and my mom forced me to go, and um, I just went. And so I sat down in the chair, and I remember just hearing the voice of the Lord saying, I have a plan, I have a purpose for you, and I love you. And in that moment, I got up and I got some prayer from one of the leaders there. And they encouraged me and they affirmed me on that you're a son, that you belong, and I love you, and the Lord loves you, and we're here for you. And if you want to accept Jesus in your heart, go ahead. So He led me into a prayer, and I accepted the Lord that night, and everything was amazing. I mean, full of zeal, just passionate, like, okay, Lord, let's do this. Let's go and do something. And later that week, we had left the mountain, went back home to San Diego, and I was super passionate about wanting to go and talk to people about my faith and Jesus. And so friends and I would go to the mall, and we would just talk to people about the Lord. Even Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, we would just get to talk to them. There's been an instance where I've invited Jehovah's Witness in my room, in my living room. My dad would come out in the hallway like, who are these people? Like, I don't know. And so we would just talk and have these conversations, and people were accepting, and people were receptive at those times. And that's what I wanted to do, is just evangelize and go and do that and bring people to church, friends. We grew up in a place called Spring Valley, my family and I, and Spring Valley was kind of a rough neighborhood, more on the ghetto side and everything like that. So getting to bring friends from school, from junior high to high school, just bringing them to church. And that's what my life consisted of, was just being on fire and happy. But then around 16, 17, kind of hung out with the wrong crowd and did my own thing, and wanted to pursue my dreams and ambitions. At this time, about 16 years old, I was leading worship at a small group. Always had a desire to do that. Always had a desire to sing and get music out and just be able to do that. So I was involved with a lot of small groups, a lot of events around the community, and getting to lead more and getting to have more opportunities. And when I was 17, I had the opportunity to play at one of the biggest conferences, Spirit West Coast in America. In California, there was this big event for Christian music, and the Lord opened up an opportunity for us to lead worship on the main stage, on the K-Love main stage. And in that moment, I'm like, Lord, this is what I want to do. I want to worship, and I want to get music out, and I want to do what you want me to do. And it was exciting. It was fun. And the Lord said, yeah, this is what I want you to do. I want you to lead people, but you don't have my heart. And kind of shocked me. Like, what do you mean I don't have your heart? And he says, you can lead on the stage all you want, but your life is not doing the same thing. You're not living the same way that you've been preaching. And I've noticed that, yeah, man, I'm living a double lifestyle. I'm doing this church thing and going and partying and hanging out with friends and just being dumb and not really living this out. And so the Lord had told my father, hey, I want your son to go to worship school. I want him to get involved with that. And him being the praying man, he was praying one night. He was like, Lord, okay, where do you want him to go? And we would search out different schools. There was a school up in Colorado that had a worship ministry. And what they did was they equipped and they raised up young people in the area of worship and prophetic. And at that time, my father didn't feel like that was the right fit. And then a friend of ours called. His name is Holland Davis from San Clemente. He had given me a word one time when I visited his church. He said, "Dream big dreams. You need to dream big, and you need to just see where the Lord's wanting to take you, and be vulnerable to Him, and just obey Him." And so I said, okay. A few months later, he called my dad, and I told him, hey, CFNI is a great place, Christ for the Nations in Dallas, Texas. My dad had never heard about it. And he's like, okay, let's check it out. So we watch a video on YouTube, and it was a video of CFNI doing One Thing Remains on their live recording. And I don't know what it was. It wasn't the stage, it wasn't the lights. It was just something about the video that tugged my heart. Like, wow, I need to go there.